Hello, arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Tonight, we're going to be doing my 91st Chill and Chat Live on a Sunday evening. I haven't done one of these in quite some time. I'll tell you guys, I'll kind of give you the rundown of what's been going on with me for the last like 6-8 weeks. I lost my job. I've been focused primarily just on finding work again. Did not really want to sink much time into YouTube, and this is just a hobby for me. Wanted to spend that time focused on, finding work. I'm happy to tell you guys, I found a new job. I'm going to be making more money than I was making before, and I still get to work at home. So that's great. Be starting tomorrow morning. So what better time than now than to start these streams back up tonight, and also to get back into the groove of things, making content again. I just can't wait to start doing that. But also something else I'm going to do a little differently is I'm going to not just be home arcade anymore. I'm going to start, just talking about everything I enjoy, whether that be sports, TV, movies, video games. Definitely still keep a focus on home arcade, but also talk about all these other things I enjoy as well, and just kind of see where it goes. I'm not, like I said, I'm not doing this as a job. This is just a hobby for me. So might as well have fun with it. Let's go ahead and say hi to everyone who's made it in the chat so far. Also, guys, my monetization's back. YouTube figured things out, and they were able to get me back on monetization. So we've got memberships, we've got emojis, we've got ads. I'm going to try and keep the ads minimum. I just had it there at the very beginning. Hopefully you shouldn't see any more of those the rest of the stream tonight. But let's say hi to everyone who's made it in the chat so far. It looks like Brooklyn Menace was the first one who made it in. Good to see you, Brooklyn. Been watching a lot of your VR content as well as Doom recently. You were killing it last night. I saw like 50 people watching you play Doom at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning here. Papa Brad's Gaming is here as well. He's a member. Also, if you guys were members prior, those should have carried over. They were never actually disabled. They were just like suspended or put on pause. So those should come back automatically. It looks like yours did. Calvin Wong's here as well. And also it looks like Kevin Clausen just gifted some memberships. Awesome to see that. So Penny or Price Vinny 007 got one. David Deming got one. Good to see that. Cameracade, Glairzilla, and P-Dubs Arcade Loft. Awesome to see that. So you guys will now be members. MSU Rich saying good evening, everyone. Good to see you. Prince Vinny 007. Let's see who else we got in the chat. Kevgret's here. Congrats, Biggie. Good to see you in the chat. Chalada Love. Good evening, everyone. Danny Johnston is here as well. Provolone Joe, Cyan Spirits, and Kevin Clausen. Good to see everyone. Kevin saying SGA won MVP. That's awesome to hear. I also saw that they won tonight. I definitely think that SGA deserved it after all the years of seeing Jokic get the MVP. It was nice to see someone new get that honor, and I think it was well-deserved. Also, we got GeForce Guy, one of our members, saying, welcome back. So good to see everybody. Looks like chats are coming through here on Restream now, so I don't have to look at my cell phone anymore. But let's get into it, guys. We've got a lot to talk about. I really had to cut some things from the stream tonight just because it's been so long. I had a lot I wanted to discuss, but we just don't have all that time. But I want to start with the Pinball FX VR because I've been spending a ton of time with my VR headset on, whether that be playing Metro Awakening, which I've finished and beat that game last night. That was about an 8-9 hour long VR game. I've also been playing a lot of Pinball VR as well. This basically is a virtual reality or a mixed reality simulation where you're standing in front of a pinball machine. You basically essentially have these pinball machines in your home. I would say this is the best pinball experience you're going to find. This is for virtual pinball. This is by far the best experience you're going to get. Just the level of depth, the amount of detail on these tables is incredible. They just look amazing, and they play amazing. You really get that sense, that feel that you have these pinball machines in front of you and you're actually playing them. Now, there are still some bugs. There are still some things I think that they need to work out to improve it. But just starting out, as soon as the game released, it was very much playable, enjoyable. They've just since added more tables as well. We got 9 new Williams Pinball Tables. So that's going to bring the total, I think, to like 20 tables. You got some Zen Originals. You've got some Universal Classic TV tables. And then you've got a bunch of Williams tables. And that's what we're looking at here are the new ones that just released this week. Now, there is going to be, and we're going to talk about that here in a second, a discount on these newer tables. So I haven't bought the new ones yet, but I will be getting volume 1, 2, and 3 as soon as the pack drops. That gives you the 20% discount, which we're going to go over here in a little bit. But you do luckily get 3-minute trials on all these tables. So you're essentially able to play them for the first 3 minutes and get a feel for them, see if you like them before you spend your money. But awesome experience. Really was waiting for this to come out. You know, I almost bought an At Games 4KP. I was very close about a month and a half ago to buying one off a guy. He was going to be selling his because he had bought a real Stern John Wick pinball table, and he was just basically offloading his Adams family. And it was a very unique situation where his Adams family table basically had some issues. It had some like mechanical issues or electrical issues, something like that. I'm not exactly sure what was wrong with it, but he had to send it back to At Games. They sent him a brand new one in the box, and he was going to sell me this brand new At Games 4KP pinball table for $1,200 flat. No, you know, of course, no tax because you're buying it off an individual. But brand new in the box. He was even willing to transfer all his tables to me. He said he had like over 200 pinball tables. He was going to transfer those over to me, and I was going to purchase this thing. This was right before the Pinball FX VR released. And for whatever reason, at the very last moment, I decided against it. I was like, you know what? Even though this is probably the best deal I'm going to find on an At Games, I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to do it right now because Adam's Family really wasn't the skin I wanted anyways. I wanted a Star Wars if that was going to happen. But I decided not to get it. And 2 weeks later, I think it was, maybe a week or 2 weeks later, the Pinball FX VR came out, and I was just blown away by it. And I was just so happy that I didn't get the 4K because my plan now is to get the X Arcade. I want to combine this virtual pinball, mixed reality pinball experience with what's called an X Arcade, which is like an arcade control panel that has pinball buttons. And basically they're working directly with Zen Studios to make sure it has all the software and everything to make sure it works correctly with their pinball games, and everything syncs and is fluid and it just works. And that's my plan now. And that thing's about $400. Paid about $300 for the headset. And then, you know, you pay, what is it, like $20 to $50 depending on how many tables you get for the Pinball FX VR. And I'm well under the $1,200 I would have spent for the At Games. And I just feel like this is just so much better. I also hear a lot of people that have the At Games and they have the FX VR, and they just talk about how much depth and 3D look there is to these tables. It's basically like a rolled under glass. You're seeing everything you would see, and it looks just like it would in reality. Whereas on the At Games, it's not like that. You have this huge screen, but it's all flat, and you're just like looking over it on top of it. And it's just, you know, it's just really flat looking. And that's just not the experience I want. I want it to be immersive, like I'm really standing in front of a real pinball table. And I'm getting all that. The only thing I'm missing right now is the physical pinball buttons and the ability to hold something physical like a table. And that's what the X Arcade's going to give us. So we're going to get into that tonight as well. But let's pick back up on this video here. So we were looking at the Williams. And another part of this announcement that came last week wasn't just these new 9 Williams tables, which we're looking at here. Theater of Magic, Junkyard, Attack from Mars, Getaway, you name it. You're going to be able to play all these most famous Bally Williams tables. Safecracker is on there. Did have some issues with Safecracker, though, with the flippers sticking and engaging on their own. So hopefully they can get that fixed. Or maybe it's just my controller, not sure, but it's only happening on that table. But this is Tomb Raider, guys. This is coming next month. So we got all those new Williams tables just about less than a week ago. We're going to get 2 more Tomb Raider theme pinball tables coming next month. And we knew about this because At Games had basically leaked this information without the knowledge of Zen. Really got them in a lot of trouble. Probably a lot of the reason we're not getting the Star Wars tables through them that were supposed to be coming. And they're actually on hold for any new Williams tables. I think a lot of that has to do with this Tomb Raider announcement and how they leaked that way ahead of time without Zen's permission. But do know this is coming to the FX VR headsets as well as all your consoles, Steam, so you'll be able to play it there. And I'm really looking forward to getting into some Tomb Raider pinball. Now, this is the X Arcade, guys. This is the device that I want to get. I've actually reached out to X Arcade already to see if I can partner with them to do a review. They are considering Biggie D's Arcade as a potential partner to do a review. But they did also say, there's a lot going on with the tariff situation. The prices on a lot of the parts and being able to produce these are going way up right now. So their budget for the review units, which they really had this large budget for, has really been reduced down to a lot less. So they said there's a great or high potential that you may not get approved and you may not get a review unit. If that's the case, I am probably just going to go ahead and bite the bullet and pay for one. They're not too expensive. You can actually get one of these for $300, $300 without the stand, which isn't bad. I think that's pretty reasonable. And then you can get it for $400 with the stand. I definitely think I want to get the stand. It's it comes with it. It's made for it. And unless like Buy Stuff Arcade or one of those third parties comes out with a pedestal for it, which I haven't seen one yet, or one that's been for sale yet, I'll probably just go ahead and get the $400 full package bundle with the stand. And there's also some lighting effects and things for that X Arcade logo there underneath it. So it does give you kind of a visual as well. But how much of the arcade will I play on it? Probably some. I'll probably play some of the arcades. I'll probably use that trackball for some games. But my main purpose in buying this is really for the pinball buttons and then just the integration with Pinball FX and my Quest headset and just making that all work together and make it look and feel like I'm really in front of a pinball machine. So great that they were able to partner with Zen and get this to happen. Just incredible from what I've been hearing from reviews and others that own this device. And just really looking forward to getting one in my home as well and just kind of making it to where I have that full experience, because I feel like this is the one part that I'm missing right now. I'm using the Quest controllers, and those move around. You're moving your hands around. It just doesn't give you that full sense with the controllers. So this is what I'm gonna get. But ultimate virtual pinball experience. That's what I'm calling it. And I don't yet own one. I know a lot of the people in the chat tonight, a lot of the viewers actually already have this set up. I know for a fact that Papa Brad does. He's done a review. Kevgred as well. I know he's got one. He's done a lot of content. His isn't a review unit. He actually paid for his, but he's still making videos. He's still making excellent content. Definitely go check that out. And then let's see, is there, I know GeForce Guy, he's playing a lot of Pinball VR right now. I see him on the leaderboards. I don't know yet if he has the X Arcade. Maybe he can let us know. Brooklyn Menace, I see him playing a lot of the Pinball FX VR as well. Seeing him on the leaderboards. I don't yet know if he's purchased this yet. Maybe he can let us know. Calvin Wong was asking about the SSF kit. So yes, on that at Games, this was the full setup. This was the SSF kit, the OTG, the advanced features, all that for $1,200, and I passed. And I was a little bit like, did I make the wrong decision at first? But now that I've been playing this FX VR, I'm like 100% sure I made the right decision. I don't have room for the at games for one. And even if I have the room, I just feel like this is a better experience. I mean, ultimately, you'd probably want to have both. I think one of the biggest appeals of the at games is that when it's in like it's a track mode, you actually have something you can see and actually looks like a pinball table. I think that because like what I do with my arcade 1-ups is I have those running in a track mode a lot, and I just like the look of them and the sound of them, and just not so much playing them all the time, but just having them in the apartment. That would be my biggest appeal, I think, of the at games and what I'm missing there. But yeah, did have the SSF kit, Calvin. You had that question. Hollywood Polo's here. Good to see you. B. Kirby, been seeing him on VR. Good to see him have a Quest headset as well and joining us. Let's see. Israel Gaming's here. Good to see you streaming again, Biggie D. Hope everything is well, brother. Yeah, everything's doing good, healthy, happy, and luckily I've got a new job paying more money. So it was stressful there for a moment. Anytime you go without a job for any period of time, it's stressful. And the job that I lost was not expected. I was laid off due to economic downturn, a reduction in workforce. Had nothing to do with what I was doing, my performance. Just financially, with everything going on with the tariffs and all that, companies are just adjusting and having to, make cuts and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So I was, unfortunately, a result of that. But I did get a good job, great paying, with a very good company, large company that should be less affected by these tariffs and everything that's going on. Steps Gaming is saying, I thought you quit YouTube. I haven't quit, but I did take a long break. It was a much needed break. And it was also, I think, important that I focused on what I needed to focus on. But I'm happy to be back, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into not just the streaming, but making content and also talking about all kinds of other stuff, not just home arcade, because, we got this exciting news with the Pinball FX and the X Arcade, but outside of that, there's just not a ton to discuss. So we've got other things to talk about tonight. But yeah, so this is Universal Classics Pinball. This was my high score. I joined Papa Brad's pinball tournament. So guys, if you're not a part of Papa Brad's pinball tournaments, definitely get involved. Every Friday he's got a stream, and at the bottom in his description, he's putting a link to the leaderboards. Basically, just go play your pinball any way you want, on a PlayStation, on an Xbox, on your arcade 1-up for that matter, wherever, on your at games, on your VR headset, all of it. Just take a photo of your high score, post it on his leaderboard, you'll be a part of it. And also every Friday he gives away a $25 giveaway, like a gift card or something, and you can be a part of that. But I've been going with it now for the last couple weeks, participating, posting my high scores. This was my high score this week, was 28,660,889. And that wasn't even close to the highest score. I mean, there's some people on those leaderboards that are like in the billions, believe it or not. And but it's a lot of fun. It really adds a whole nother dynamic to you playing the pinball, because you feel like you're playing with your friends. It just makes you want to chase those higher scores, get higher up on the leaderboard. Just that satisfaction of being able to post your high score, see you're above somebody else, is a lot of fun. And I encourage you guys to join those tournaments if you haven't already. But this was my high score. I actually did beat this score Friday, right before his show, but it was only 29 billion, or 29 million, I'm sorry. So it wasn't much higher than the 28 million that I had here. So I didn't post it, but it's still a little bit better score. But a lot of fun. This is I don't know what this character is here on the right that I unlocked, but I never watched Battlestar Galactica. That was the table last week, but I'd unlocked this character, and you can kind of put them where you want, but they have these areas in your arcade where you can put them to where you can see them and just remember your high score and that you unlocked that character. So very cool. Universal Classics Pinball Pack. I've been playing the originals, the ones that came with the $10 Pinball FX VR, and then I paid $15 for the Universal Classics Pinball. It came with 3 tables. It came with Xena, Warrior Princess, Knight Rider, and Battlestar Galactica. And of these 3, I think Xena's my favorite table. I just love that fantasy, kind of like Lord of the Rings, kind of feel vibe to it. Just really like that Xena Warrior Princess. Never watched the show, but I love the table. Battlestar Galactica is probably my second favorite. And then Knight Rider is like my third. And I think most people like the Knight Rider the most, which is surprising that I didn't enjoy it as much as some others. But just these other ones are great tables. But hopefully we'll get a Xena Warrior Princess tournament going here soon on Papa Brad's channel. So that's Universal Classics Pinball. Now here's some news from Zen on this Volume 1, 2, and 3 packs that released, I think it was Thursday. And this is what I was talking about earlier in the stream, where I was talking about how I'm going to be waiting to get these packs later on. I'm not going to pay the full price because they're advertising here on their Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, that it's 20% off coming soon. There's some mix-up with MetaQuest and their store and offering these packs that have all 3 volumes. The DLC is normally $9.99, so $10 for 1, 2, and 3. Well, you can get all 3 of them in one pack for 20% off. So I think people calculated that out. Be $24 for all the tables. And each one comes with 3 tables, so 9 tables for $24. Definitely be getting that. And the tournament this week is Attack from Mars. So if you want to play in the tournament this week for Papa Brad's tournament, you're going to have to get the Attack from Mars pack at least. Hopefully this will come out before the end of the week so I can participate because I'm waiting it out. Some people are buying this early. They're spending the extra money just to get like the Attack from Mars pack so they can be in the tournament this week, and then they'll buy this full collection later on. I'm just waiting it out, saving the $10. So let's see here what they had to say. They said, "We hope you are ready for the Williams Pinball Volume 1, 2, and 3 coming to the Pinball FX VR tomorrow." This was on Wednesday. We wanted to let you know that we also are going to publish a Williams Collection 1, which is a bundle containing these 3 packs, giving you 20% discount compared to getting them individually at $10 a piece. However, due to the technical reasons on the Quest store, the bundle might be delayed compared to the availability of the DLC releasing tomorrow, and that's been the case. As of right now, the collection is still not available on the store, and we still don't have word from Zen on when that's going to be. Hopefully tomorrow, being tomorrow's Monday morning, we'll get word on that, maybe get a better timeline of when that's going to release. But they said they're working hard on getting this offer available to us as soon as possible, thanking us for understanding. So good communication from Zen, and nice to see them be giving us a discount. Sounds like this is completely out of their hands. We're just going to have to wait until Quest can get it on the store. So Chalada Love says that the Xena table is great. And I know a lot of people have been playing the Xena on the AT games because that was one of the ones that released on the 4KP. And I've been watching people play it for a while. But yeah, I've got firsthand experience with it. I love it. Great table. And that's with someone that never watched the show. So if you're a fan of that franchise, then you'll probably like it even more than I do. Steps Gaming, she says, for $180, you can get the Mayflash F300 Fight Stick, Capcom Fighting Collection 1 and 2, Marvel Capcom Collection, and the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. Way more games and cheaper than an arcade. Yeah, so we're getting all kinds of ways to experience these games, maybe even in better ways than what we've been doing with the Arcade 1-Up or the AT games. This is another example. You know, if you're into the fighting games, get your Fight Stick, get these collections because they're optimized for these systems, and they play great, they look great, and you can play online. And I saw like a 2-hour stream from Steps on Friday, I think it was, where she was playing the new Collection 2. And I'm looking forward to getting it. We're actually going to touch on this here tonight towards the end of the stream too. GeForce Guy says, I vote for Theater of Magic or Medieval Madness for the following week. I'm addicted to those. Those are great tables. Yeah, Medieval Madness is a lot of fun. I've always loved that table on the Arcade 1-Up pinball. Theater of Magic, I don't have much experience with. I've been able to play that 3-minute trial. So looking forward to buying that table and getting some more time with it. And Kev Grit's saying Zen is killing it with VR. They absolutely are. Papa Brad's Gaming, he just gifted 10 memberships. That's awesome to see. Not only is he supporting the channel, he's supporting the viewers, getting them into these memberships, because then they get to use the emojis. They're going to get the badge next to their name, which all that's customized. I created from scratch. So it's unique to the channel, something you can have to not only support, but show off your support. So thank you, Papa Brad, for gifting 10 memberships. That's incredible. All right, guys. So now this is the point where we're going to switch it up. We're going to change it up. We're going to get out of the home arcade, the pinball arcades. We're going to start talking sports. This is new. This is something I'd touch on sports here and there, but we're actually going to make it a segment tonight because you can see I'm wearing the Dallas Mavericks jersey. I am a Cowboys fan as well, but a huge Mavericks fan. And this last week was the NBA lottery. Basically what an NBA lottery is it allows teams that don't make the playoffs to have a certain amount of chance to win high draft picks based on lottery balls. They're basically just like the lotto. They got a bunch of balls and they just randomly draw them. Well, the Dallas Mavericks only had a 1.8% chance because they actually made the play-in game. They actually almost made the playoffs. They actually won their first play-in game, and then they played Memphis in the second game. And if they had won that second game against Memphis, they would have made it into the playoffs. If they made it into the playoffs, they had 0% chance of winning anything in the draft. They would be towards the back of the draft automatically. But since they had lost that game against Memphis, that allowed them a 1.8% chance of winning the first pick in the NBA draft. And this was a huge draft this year because there's this amazing talented player that just came out of nowhere. This is like a Michael Jordan, a Larry Bird type level draft pick this year. And his name is Cooper Flagg. And he is going to be the next face of the NBA. I guarantee it. He is just incredible. He's 6'9". He's only 18. He's 18 right now. He was 17 when he started the college season. He actually, when he was playing in college last season, he should have been still in high school. He left high school early to get into college basketball because he was just that good. And he was amazing at Duke, made it to the Final Four, really showed off his skill, his talent, his work ethic, and just won over all the NBA and just all the scouts out there just are praising him, right? So the Mavericks got this 1.8% chance. There's no way they're going to win, right? Well, lo and behold, they get the first pick in the NBA draft. And now everyone's screaming, the NBA's rigged. The NBA is scripted. Because if you guys remember, I may have touched on this. I may have spoken about this last time I was streaming. But Luka got traded to the Lakers. And it's just like, was the end of the world. The Mavericks fans just could not take it. We lost our minds, basically chanting, fire Nico, get him out of there. Nico's the general manager of the Mavericks. Fire him, get him out of there. He is doing a terrible job. He just traded away one of the best talents in the NBA. So Mavericks get the first pick in the NBA draft. And people were saying this leading up to the draft is like, what if the Mavericks, because they gave the Lakers Luka, watch the Mavericks get the first pick in the NBA draft, just as for fun, and just like joking around. And this actually happened. So now everyone thinks it's all scripted, just like WWE. They think it's completely rigged. And the commissioner basically handed them the first pick in the NBA draft. And they did it in a year in which one of the best players to ever come out of the draft is available this year with the first pick. So Dallas Mavericks got the first pick, and we know who they're going to pick. They're going to pick Cooper Flagg. So I wanted to talk about him a little bit tonight. He, like I said, he's 6'9", averaging, I think, like 20 points a game, like 7 rebounds, 6 assists, just this credible talent, only 18 years old, just a kid, and he's this good already. And this is great because we, have the legacy of Dirk Nowitzki. We really were able to get a lot out of Luka in those 6 years, got all the way to the finals, and it looked like it was the end of the world when he left. Now that's completely turned around. We've got all this hype now. We've got all this hope that we can turn this around quickly. And not only just that, this is going to go on for the next 10 to 15 years if we can keep him in Dallas. This will be a player we can rely on for, a decade or longer to come. So we're really set up for success. This is Mark Cuban. So Mark Cuban sold the team. This was about a year or two ago. Sold the team, made a ton of money off of it. He has very little say now. He only has a minority ownership in the team. And he would have never traded Luka. He said it outright. He said it was a mistake. I would never trade Luka Doncic. Man, you could see it on his face there. No shirt on, just sitting at home, watching the draft, has no control of the team anymore, and draft lottery, and just going crazy when he finds out that Cooper Flagg is going to be a Maverick. So great to see Mark Cuban with a smile on his face again, happy, ready, excited for next season. And then this here is going to be like a potential lineup. So looking at our lineup now, where it just looked like a terrible situation before, just looks like an amazing lineup now. You got Kyrie Irving. He's going to have to come back from the an ACL injury. So he had a surgery. He's going to probably be out for the start of next season, may come in mid-season next year around All-Star break. He'll be the point guard. We got Klay Thompson, a proven veteran, won championships in Golden State, was part of the Big Three, the Splash Brothers. He is getting towards the end of his career, but it's always good to have a shooter, a veteran on the team. So great spot there at shooting guard. And then your small forward, which really Cooper Flagg can play power forward, small forward. He can play either or. He's 6'9", so he's tall, he's strong. What a perfect spot with him at small forward, because look who you have backing him up. You've got some big guys. You've got Anthony Davis, who's a top 10 NBA player who can play power forward or center, but he'll get to play power forward where he wants to be, and he'll be backing up Cooper Flagg, making sure he's getting those rebounds, those deflections, those block shots, and just taking some of that pressure off of Cooper Flagg to allow him to operate. So it'll be really good seeing Anthony Davis. He's also going to benefit from Cooper Flagg being there as well, because he'll be open more. He can shoot, he can dunk, he can, and we can yet to see this, but I'd like to see Cooper Flagg develop into a really good passer, how Luka was, and that way AD can get some of those alley-oop dunks, get some of those easy shots. But then center, we're really set up at center because we've got two great centers. We've got Daniel Gafford, which is 26 years old. He's huge. He's big in the middle. Great center, number one. And then our number two, we have Lively, which we drafted just a few years ago in the first round. We got him in the top 10 pick. And he's incredible. He's developed into a really good player under Luka. So we'll see. Last year was kind of a bad year for him. He got hurt. So he'll be healthy, hopefully, going into next season. And he'll be the backup center, maybe potentially develop into the starting center. And then also having two, like a really young, lot of potential guy in Lively, but then having Daniel Gafford as well, is trade bait for other teams. If you guys watched the Lakers this season in the playoffs, they were terrible. They had no bigs. They had no defense. They had no rebounders, no shot blockers. So they're in desperate need now because they traded away most of their big guys to get Luka. And they didn't really have many to begin with. What are they going to do? They're going to really want to go after Gafford. They've been talking about it. All the fans, all the commentators, the YouTube creators that are Lakers fans are all talking about Daniel Gafford to the Lakers this offseason. So think about, who could we get potentially for him if we were to trade him? I would say keep it the way it is. Keep who you got. And if some incredible offer comes around and you guys want to trade him, then do it. But it's got to be something incredible. Like, like if they could do it, get some like good draft picks and a good player for him, I would say do it. But otherwise, keep it the way it is. See what this team becomes, how they gel, how they play. And like last season, if you guys remember, there were a lot of injuries. It was an injury-riddled season. You got to have backup talent as well, second stringers that can become first stringers, and keep it the way it is. So great potential for next season, but also long far into the future now with just the addition of one guy, Cooper Flagg. So there's our lineups for next season. I did want to touch on this. So talking about the script of the NBA, how it's rigged. We've got Kevin here saying it's rigged, LOL. That's what everybody's thinking. Look at this. Isn't this just ironic, right? You got WWE, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, which is 100% scripted. We know it. We're at a WWE event in the ring together, talking trash to each other. This was last year. And now look who is in the Eastern Conference Finals. We got the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers facing off, and the two stars, Jalen Brunson and Halliburton, against each other. It just seems so obvious that, there are some forces at work, and whether that be the commissioner, whether it be advertisers, whoever it is, there is something going on behind the scenes to make sure these teams, these players, are getting all the way. And maybe not game by game can they influence that much, but they can definitely influence the outcome of a season with their officiating, with their trades, with all that going on. So, and their influence on that. And this just shows it right here, this image, these teams in the Eastern Conference Finals, and just how ironic that they were in a WWE event. It just you can't make this stuff up, guys. It's you really can't. So let's take a look at this video. Getting back to Cooper Flagg, I wanted to show this to you because I thought this was really cool. So this was Cooper Flagg at 13 years old, wearing a Dallas Mavericks shirt, Luka Doncic shirt at that. I actually had this one. This was 13, so this was a long time ago, 5 years ago, when he had first come into the league. So that's how long Cooper Flagg has been a fan of the Mavericks, and just funny to see he was a Doncic fan and enjoyed watching him, seeing him play. So this is him last year, right before the Olympics, around June, July of last year. So over almost a year ago, when he was 17, playing against the pro players in a practice. And you can just see how athletic he is, how much he enjoys being out there, giving it his all. This is just a practice, guys. And from what I'm hearing from scouts, from coaches, is this guy gives 110% every time he's in front of a hoop. Every time he has a basketball around him, he's always giving it his all. And that's what makes him so special, is you never see him give up on a play. You never see him not, giving it his all. And I think that's what's special about him as well, is not just his talent, but his drive, his work ethic. And that's what the Mavericks did not like about Luka, is that he drank, he ate a lot in the offseason, he gained a lot of weight. He was just kind of a lazy guy off the court. And that's not the case with Cooper Flagg. He is the total opposite of that. So it's going to be really special to watch him develop and become an NBA player. And just amazing for me as a Dallas Maverick fan to be able to say he's going to be a Maverick. So that's why I wanted to discuss it tonight. And I'm going to continue as I see more information on him and just, make that a topic of discussion in my streams. Maybe start making some videos. Maybe some others in our home arcade community want to talk sports. we can talk sports together on a stream. So looking forward to next season. Rensler says that could be a nice squad if everyone stays healthy. Yeah, healthy, I think, is the key point there after last season, just how injury-ridden we were and how poorly that ended up turning out. We ended up getting something great out of it. But, I mean, if you're going to have a bad season and you're not going to make the playoffs, I think maybe even better than making the playoffs and winning the first or second round is getting the first pick in the NBA draft. And to be able to get Cooper Flagg, one of the best players to ever come out of an NBA draft and be one of the highest rated players to ever be in a draft, and that be this year for the Mavericks, is just incredible to be able to say it all worked out that way. But he says staying healthy seems to be the name of the game these days. And that's so true. You know, you've got so many injuries this season, and we've seen it a lot, you know, and we've seen it a lot in the playoffs this year. Great players going down with injuries, Kyrie Irving being one of them. But a lot of the players I see getting injured too are older, you know, in their 30s. That's the great thing about the NBA and having young talent, having young players like Oklahoma City this season, one of the youngest teams in the league. The stretch at the very end of the season, that youth really determines a lot because they stay healthier, they get hurt less. If they do get hurt, they recover quicker. And it is a young man sport. And that's something about the NBA is it is driven by the young talent. Where in like baseball, maybe even in football as like a quarterback, you can play well into your late 30s, even your 40s. Now the exception would be LeBron, but even LeBron, you're seeing him lose a step or two, and you're seeing the result of that in the playoffs this season, where you know he can't win it all for his team. He's got to kind of hand that over to Luka to try to win games because he's at 40 years old. So young talent is important. It is the name of the game to stay healthy. Absolutely. Kevin brings up P.J. Washington. So talking about other players on the Mavericks that may not even be in the starting lineup that could be trade bait, P.J. Washington, because he's a very good player. He could be a starter on most every other NBA team where he may not get that time here in Dallas. So what's going to happen to P.J. Washington now? Interesting to see. Papa Brad's Gaming says the last basketball game he went to was the Harlem Globetrotters. LOL. Oh, man, that's funny. I have not gone to a Harlem Globetrotters game, but they are good. They can sure dribble and show off. They're not. I don't know if they'd be great NBA players, but they're a lot of fun to watch. Brooklyn Menace says at Papa Brad's Gaming, me too. I think the only basketball game I ever went to was Harlem Globetrotters. All right, guys. So now this is going to be a lot of fun. We're now going to get into movies. There is a big movie coming out. A very big movie called Superman. Comes out on July 11th. James Gunn. So you guys remember James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy, 1, 2, and 3. Incredible movie. Some of the best Marvel movies ever made were his Guardians of the Galaxy. They're just so different than the other Marvel movies. They're a lot of fun. Visually, they look incredible. Great storytelling. Great character development. All that, right? Well, he kind of finishes off Guardians of the Galaxy 3, moves over to DC, becomes a head of DC. He makes the Peacemaker show. This is his first movie. This is his first entry into his new DCU. So the DCEU was your Henry Cavill, your Ben Affleck, Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, all them. That's over with. That a universe called the DCEU is over with. They're moving on. They're starting over. They're rebooting with this new Superman movie. So I wanted to talk about this because I thought that the trailers that had came out were really good, but the one that had dropped this last week was just incredible. It really showed off a lot of the movie, the characters, what's going to be going on in this movie, and I wanted to discuss because I'm a big Superman fan. I've actually got a Superman figure here behind me tonight that PD7 had bought me. So big Superman fan. So let's go through these slides I made today. So this is the suit of his Superman that he's going to be using. He's got the trunks. It's going to look more like what we see in the comic books. You know, the Henry Cavill Superman suit, I thought it was well formed to his body. It looked good. It's very futuristic looking, very alien looking. But it wasn't very comic book accurate, I thought, to like the original Superman and what I remember of him. So like this first slide here, you see the suit. It's almost a perfect match, except for the lines and the texturing in the suit. I think they did an excellent job with it and the cape and the logo. Everything just looks really good to me. Lex Luthor, I thought that this was a great person to get, you know, for the actor. I think he's an excellent actor. Also think, you know, he'll do a really good job. Really doesn't take much to make a Lex Luthor look like Lex, other than you got to shave his head, cut all that hair off, make him bald. And it seems like they did that pretty well. So now we're going to get into some slides I made to kind of go over the characters we know are going to be in the movie, what they're going to look like, and who they are if you guys are unsure. So we've got Jonathan and Martha Kent. This is going to be Superman's Earthborn father and mother. You'll see in this scene the father basically sitting with his son, which is from another planet, but he raised his son, which is Superman Clark Kent, basically talking about, you know, you are your decisions you make. You are a good. You can be a good person by you know, the acts that you do, and you know how you help society and just be a good person. So that's the father, Jonathan Kent, and then you've got Martha Kent or Ma Kent. She's got a really funny line in the trailer talking about, I've got your boots cleaned. So he's keeping his suit at home. Obviously, the mom and dad know he's Superman. They're helping him. They're, you know, assisting however they can, not only just raising him to be a good person, but also the mother, just, you know, how mothers are. I've got your clothes clean, ready to go for you. So next slide, this is the Kent farm. So the Kent farm was interesting, I thought, because this isn't like your huge farm you think of when you think of Superman in Kansas on his parents' farm. You think of like the, you know, the big barns. You think of like they're processing cows and the milk and all that, and they just got this huge operation going. Well, it's not like that in this movie. I've learned that like James Gunn wanted to keep it this kind of poor family living out in the, you know, in the country in this little house. Yeah, they got cows, they got an old work truck, but they don't have tractors. They're not doing a ton of farming. They're just kind of poor, kind of making ends meet, and just living a nice, quiet life together. And the reason that he had done this is he's from Missouri. He grew up in rural Missouri, and he wanted Superman's farm to resemble what he pictured when he was growing up and the farms that he was accustomed to seeing in rural Missouri. So I thought they really hit that point, and they really did a good job of just changing it up, making it a little different, but doing it in a way that was familiar to him so he could make this better movie. And, you know, just also I like the idea of him growing up in this poor home and coming from a, you know, just a good family that doesn't necessarily need a lot of money or success to be happy. I think that was a great way to do the story. And then this is him and his dog, Crypto. So this is new too. We've got Super Dog. You guys may have known of him before. His name is Crypto. He's been in the comics, the cartoons. We've got Crypto for the very first time in a Superman movie. And this is him laying on his stomach at home in his bed. And we'll see more of Crypto, I think, in some more trailers leading up to the movie. But we've seen a couple of him. We've seen him in the Fortress of Solitude, like dragging him back there in a previous trailer. And then in this most recent one, we see him laying on his stomach. We also see him fighting one of the villains in the Fortress of Solitude. He's actually a pretty good, you know, attack dog. He can do some damage, right? He's got the powers of Superman, but he's a dog. And what is interesting too that I've learned is Superman. He's taking care of Crypto. Crypto is not his dog. Crypto is Supergirl's dog, which is his sister. So we're going to actually be introduced to not just Superman in this movie, but also his sister, Supergirl. And that Crypto is her dog. He's just, for whatever reason, watching over him during this movie. And at some point, Supergirl is going to come back and take him, be the owner again. And then in a later movie, which actually is in development right now, I think they just wrapped filming on, which is the Supergirl movie, he'll play a large part in it as well. So, introduction to him. Rick Flag Sr., he's going to be the Secretary of Defense. He's going to play a very big part in this movie. Papa Brad says, show the trailer. I would show the trailer, but it's got all this licensed music. I don't want to get copyrighted. I don't want to, have to take it down later and do all that. So we're not actually going to show the trailer, but it's very easy to go see if you guys want to get up to speed on what I'm discussing here. Kelvin Wong says sister, not cousin. So from what I'm aware of, it's a sister. But they share the same dad, which is going to be Bradley Cooper, I've heard. So we'll see. But maybe you're correct. I don't think anyone really knows what James Gunn's going to actually do with this story. He can definitely change it in any way he wants. Doesn't have to be accurate to the comic book. So we'll see. A lot of this is all just speculation based on what I've seen, what I've been hearing. We don't know until we see the movie. But Supergirl better be smoking hot, Papa Brad says. I think she will be. If you guys watch that HBO series, Dragon, which I never watched that show, so I can't even tell you what it's called, but it's something Dragon on HBO. She's in that show, if you guys watch it. That's going to be the actress. And I actually had notes on all the actors' names, so I could give you the exact actors' names, but for some reason my notes are gone, and I'm not going to be able to remember everyone's names. But Rick Flag Sr., Secretary of Defense, he's going to play a very big part in this movie. So looking forward to seeing what he's going to be doing. Now, this here is going to be one of the villains I think I'm most interested in seeing. I think one of the biggest parts of the movie, and also just going to be a lot of entertainment value, is going to be this new villain called the Engineer. New to me, at least. She's been in the comics for a long time, but she's basically like a robot, but she can morph kind of into anything that she wants. But she's all mechanical, like she's not like a human, but she can make herself look like a human, but then she can morph into all kinds of other, basically whatever she wants. So that's going to be really cool. We see in the trailer she's able to make these saws out of her hand. You see there she's cut on her face. That was Crypto jumping up at her, getting a big gash in her face, and you can see that underneath, no blood, no muscle. It's all just like mechanical, like insides to her. So the Engineer, new villain we're going to be introduced to in this movie, but it's been part of the comic books for a very long time. Also, I was going to be interested to see, when I had heard that they were going to bring this villain into this movie, is how are they going to make her look? Because in the comics, it's kind of like a Silver Surfer type look to her. But we can see in this image, she can make herself look human. So I thought they did a pretty good job. And also, talking about smoking hot, I think she's going to be smoking hot. So good to see her in there. And that's Engineer. Now, this is going to be a big villain part of the movie. Lex Luthor's Ultraman. Now, I thought what James Gunn did with this was pretty interesting. So he kind of did a mix between what you see in the comics books, which was Ultraman, which is basically just an evil clone of Superman, and then kind of a mix of Doomsday. If you guys remember the Death of Superman comic books, Doomsday, when he was first introduced in those first comic books, he had this appearance with those eyes and those goggles and that suit. And I just think it was kind of like a mix. He's got the U on his chest, but outside of that, he really looks like Doomsday. And I thought that was really cool what he did with this. And this is basically a clone of Superman, an evil version of him. Who better to fight and bring down the Man of Steel than the Man of Steel evil version of him? And that's what we're going to see in this movie. So he's going to have his hands full. He's going to have Lex Luthor, he's going to have the Engineer, and he's going to have Ultraman all coming at him in this movie. So just like a ton of villains, ton of action. So get ready, buckle up. All right, so next, what I kind of want to discuss is like the story. So in the story and kind of how this is going to go is Superman's going to go to this foreign country. It's like a fictional Middle Eastern country where it's like war torn. He's going to go in there and he's going to basically stop and prevent the war from happening. And he's going to make peace in the Middle East. And basically, Rick Flag Sr., which we just saw, he's the Secretary of Defense, and Lex Luthor, which supposedly is going to be the President of the United States, which he was in the comic books at one point. So they're thinking that's what's going to happen in the movie. They're going to basically come after Superman and say, you did not have our authorization, you did not have our ability, or you did not have the ability to go act for the United States. So therefore, you have broken the law and you are now a criminal and you're going to be charged as a criminal. So that's going to be the storyline. And that's how Superman's going to get in trouble and go from being like the hero to, like, for the public, the villain. And then really the villains are going to look like the heroes to everyone and to the society. So that's going to be the storyline. So you can see him getting arrested here. And, you know, they've done this before. Henry Cavill got arrested in his movie, but he kind of gave up and just said, hey, I'll let you arrest me. Well, I don't think that's going to happen in this movie because you see Ultraman, you see the Engineer, you see Rick Flag Sr. there bringing him in. I think these are like real powerful villains. They're going to be the ones coming in to arrest him, and he's not going to go lightly. He's not going to go easily and just let them arrest him. So, because he knows what's coming, Lex Luthor's coming, and he's got this master plan to basically get rid of Superman. He doesn't think he's a human. He calls it an it, and he needs to be destroyed. So this is how he's going to convince everyone and manipulate everyone to thinking he's a bad guy and basically destroy him. Try to. So they've arrested him, and they're going to lock him up. Well, you can't just put Superman in a prison cell and expect him to stay there. So what Lex Luthor has is what's called a pocket dimension. It's like an alternate reality where he can lock him away in this, what they call a pocket dimension. And we're going to be introduced to this as well, not only in this movie, and we're going to talk about it here in a second, but in Peacemaker. So this is all new to the DCU, is this, you know, alternate reality where he can take people, he can go to do experiments and lock people up and do kind of like horrible things to people away from society and where people can see it and know about it. So he's going to be locked in these cells, right? Well, how are they going to keep him in there? Well, that's when we're going to be introduced to Metamorpho, which is another kind of, he's a hero, but he's under the control of Lex Luthor. I don't know what's going on where he's evil in this movie, or at least starting out in the movie he is. And Metamorpho can basically morph into anything he wants. So he can basically become Kryptonite, which we're going to see in this movie. And he's going to use Lex Luthor is going to use Metamorpho to subdue and imprison Superman in this movie by morphing into Kryptonite. And basically, he's just going to live next to Superman for as long as Lex wants to keep Superman alive for experimenting or for whatever reason. We still don't know. So that's how they're going to keep him under control, keep him locked away in this pocket dimension. So very interesting to see all this story and how it's going to play out. This isn't just going to be your run-of-the-mill superhero movie. This is going to be a lot going on. It's going to be great storytelling, great villains, great characters. You see these like soldiers here. These were actually part of the comic book too, where these are Lex's soldiers. They're like these super-powered soldiers that are going to be running this prison. So very cool to see all this. You can see how good of a job they did with Metamorpho and how he looks as well. So Superman at some point in this movie is going to escape the pocket dimension. A lot of people have theories that Metamorpho is going to become good at some point in this movie. He's going to realize maybe he's under mind control from Lex, or maybe he just, has like a guilt, and he wants to become a good person, and he maybe Superman's rubbing off on him, making him feel like a terrible person for doing all this, and he wants to become good, and he wants to become a hero. So he basically, at some point in the movie, helps Superman escape and assist him in that. That's the theory. We don't know that, but he's going to break out of this pocket dimension, and he's going to go take back Earth and make it good again and get Lex Luthor out of control of the country and take him out of being a president. So Lex Luthor at some point in the movie is going to release this giant kaiju, big monster, kind of similar to like a Godzilla level monster, which they think that he created in that pocket dimension. He's going to release that out into the wild, into the world, into Earth, to take on Superman and bring him down again, because he's out now and he's going to be coming after Lex. So this big kaiju, big monster, can breathe fire, can shoot fire out of his mouth, Godzilla level monster, is going to be a big fight in the movie, big spectacle, going to be awesome to see. And then at some point after that, I think this is going to be your final battle right here at the end of the movie, kind of like the last stand for Lex. And this is either going to be Lex Luthor in this power suit, or it's going to be Ultraman. So maybe Ultraman just on his own wasn't powerful enough to overtake Superman. He needed the assistance of these other villains or Lex. And Lex is either going to give him this power suit, or maybe Superman defeats Ultraman and Lex gets in the suit. Because we know that's been a popular part of the comic books, is Lex having his power suit and taking on Superman and being ultra powerful, just extremely powerful in this suit he developed. So I'm leaning more Lex, but we still don't know. So I don't want to go with that and commit to that quite yet. The only thing that leads me to believe that could be Ultraman is the rays coming out of his eyes there. But I think Lex could develop some technology like that as well. And that could just be Lex in there. But I think this is your final battle here. And he's going to really get him. He's going to really beat him up pretty badly. And that's what we see in the trailers, where he's like trying to get back to like the North or South Pole where the Fortress of Solitude is, get back to safety so he can, because he's all beat up and broken and bleeding. And I think that happens here. So at that point, I think this is where we get introduced to the Justice League team. The Justice League team are a group of heroes that we're going to be introduced to, which is going to be Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, Hawkeye, Mr. Terrific. And they're going to be backed by Maxwell Lord's company, Lord Tech. So we're going to be introduced to him as well. And I think that's when they come in and they help Superman. We got these other heroes coming in to save the day. And basically, we're going to get to see that happen. He's going to get some help. But at some point here, Engineer's going to really do some damage, and she's going to like take out, we can see Mr. Terrific for sure is all beat up. But they're fighting here in this ballpark. You can see that she's got these saws out. She's shooting them over at Superman. I think this is kind of like the last stand for the Engineer. But then we also see her in the trailer at the Fortress of Solitude with Crypto. We saw an image of that earlier. So I don't know the exact timing of all this. But I think this is all part of that final battle here that we're looking at. So he's taking on Lex. He's taking on the Kaiju. He's taking on the Engineer. Ultraman we see in this ballpark as well in the trailers. So it's just going to be this huge battle, right? And you've got all these heroes against all these villains. And it's just going to be this huge battle, epic battle here. So can't wait to see all that. So we got some other things, DCU as well coming up. So that's all going to happen in July. Peacemaker Season 1. I never watched it. I'm going to start it now. Try to have that completed by the start of Superman, July 11th. But then August 21st, we're going to get Peacemaker Season 2. And if you guys remember at the end of Peacemaker Season 1, and I just know this because I saw leaks on YouTube and just spoilers. But we got, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck. You've got Aquaman. You've got The Flash at the end of Peacemaker Season 1. So he's part of the DCEU. How is James gonna keep Peacemaker going and bring him into this new universe? Well, they're going to use Lex's pocket dimension, and he's going to somehow, get into this other world, kind of like what Marvel's been doing in their universe. They're going to kind of join these together. Peacemaker's going to somehow end up in the DCU, and we're going to figure that out in Peacemaker Season 2. But part of that's going to be James Gunn's brother, which is playing Maxwell Lord. He may or may not be in Superman, but we know for a fact from the trailer he will be in Superman Season 2. So great to see that because he was a big part of the success of Guardians of the Galaxy. And I think it really just helps to have his brother in these features, in these movies, these shows, because just probably makes it better for James to be more creative and just have a family member there with him. He's probably not the best actor, but I think that's okay because as long as the movies are great, the storytelling's great, the development of the characters is good, it'll be good to see him in there. And then we've got Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, which we're going to see in Superman's also going to be in Peacemaker Season 2, and then Hawkgirl. So they obviously all survive. Now, we don't know if Mr. Terrific survives. That's yet to be seen. And, those images, he looked pretty done. So we'll see if he survives. But definitely Green Lantern, looks like he will. Hawkeye will. And they're forming this new team of heroes. Now, this image of Peacemaker that we're seeing is interesting. This is the Peacemaker of the DCU, where the Peacemaker of the DCEU from Season 1 is going to meet himself in this new universe. So we're going to see that happen as well, where they're going to kind of face off against each other. So a lot going on in this show. Looking forward to it. And then we've got another thing going on with James Gunn as well, which this is in development. This is going to be the HBO series called The Lanterns, which is in filming right now. Basically, if you're a fan of Green Lantern, you like that character, you're going to get your fill of Green Lantern coming up. You've got Guy Gardner, Hal Jordan, and Jon Stewart all going to be a part of this show. And if you guys know anything about Green Lantern, there's hundreds of them. So we'll see all kinds of versions of Green Lantern, I imagine, in this show. So if you're a comic book fan, this is a great time to be alive because not only do you have Marvel and what they did with the Avengers, kind of, not doing so well today, I don't think. We've got DC really taking up that slack and really bringing out some really quality, I think, movies and TV shows coming up here this year. So just wanted to discuss all this. I think it's really cool what James Gunn is doing and him having full control, having the reins of DC and what he's doing with it. I think it's just really great to see. So that's it on my DC stuff tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed these slides. Hope you guys have liked all this Superman talk, all this DC talk. We'll definitely be doing some more of this because like when I'm on YouTube or when I'm surfing the internet, this is a lot of the stuff that I'm watching. A lot of stuff I'm consuming is not just video games, not just arcades, but sports, movies, TV shows as well. So great to be able to talk about that stuff with you guys. We only got 9 viewers, but that's okay because we're having fun. And guess what? A lot of people may pick up on this later. They may watch the replay this week. They may join us next week. And maybe hopefully that'll take off a little bit and we can talk about this more and have fun with it. So this is really cool. I'm big into John Wick. I did not get into John Wick till like a couple of years ago. I just started picking up the movies and watching them, and I was just blown away by how well choreographed the fighting was and the combat. And, just John Wick is just a badass, right? He's like, watching 007, but for like a more modern audience and a lot more violent as well. So I love the John Wick universe and what they've been doing with it. And they're really going to be expanding on that here come June, here in just a few weeks. So when I first heard about this movie, Ballerina, I wasn't like really hyped about it. I was like, oh no, they're just making a female version of John Wick now. This is going to suck, right? But I've been seeing the trailers. I've been seeing like the making of it, and it looks really good, guys. And John Wick will play a very large part in the movie as well. So if you're a fan of him, he's going to be a huge part of the movie as well. So they're just really expanding on the story, the characters, and bringing in this new character, Ballerina. But I just thought these images we're looking at here, these posters were like fire. These things are freaking badass posters I wanted to share with you guys. If you have an appreciation for art, you have an appreciation for creativity, I just thought these were extremely creative. Like, if you really look at the detail of some of this, you can see there's a whole lot going on, and it just looks incredible, looks amazing. So here's a couple posters, and we got some more for you guys. She's got this flamethrower. She's going to have a huge scene in the movie where she's got this huge flamethrower, and she's burning people up. So that'll be cool. And then you can see these images, just how cool they are, and what's going on. If you look at the detail, maybe you can rewatch this later or find these images online somewhere. But there's a huge backstory to this where I guess she's like a ballerina dancer, probably just some nobody that just is into that. Well, she becomes this huge, combat expert, karate, weapons expert, and like takes on hundreds of people and probably kills hundreds of people throughout this movie. So it's just going to be, violent as hell, but a fun movie for sure. And then here's another image of it, all the weapons, grenades she's going to be using. If you guys remember the John Wick pinball, I'm a huge fan of the John Wick pinball. When I first heard about it, I first started looking at it, I was like, there's no guns in the pinball table, which made no sense because these movies are all about the weapons, all about the guns, play a huge part in these movies. So it's interesting to see they didn't have any in the pinball table. Trying to keep it more family friendly, I think. But I don't know how you can do that with John Wick, but whatever. But actually, I love the pinball table. It's actually my favorite Stern right now. Of all the Stern tables I get to go play at the arcade, believe it or not, the John Wick is my favorite one. So I think it's just my love for the movie, too. Has a lot to do with that. So go watch John Wick coming out here. I don't go to a ton of movies, but I'll definitely be there day one to see that. Also came across this, guys. I was a big He-Man fan growing up. I used to collect all the action figures. I actually had the whole set of action figures growing up. And we have never gotten a live-action He-Man movie. Well, it's in development right now, and I've been seeing these images pop up. Not quite sold yet on He-Man. Obviously, he's just in plain clothes here. I don't know what the storyline's going to be, how he becomes He-Man. Or maybe he already is at this point. Don't know the full story yet or much about this movie. I don't think a lot is leaked other than these images. But it is looking decent, and hopefully it's a great movie. But just wanted to mention, He-Man Masters of the Universe is coming probably next summer. Kevin says John Wick 4 had nunchucks. Calvin Wong says, count me in as number 10. He's our 10th viewer tonight in the live stream, late here on a Sunday night, especially out on the East Coast. It's late. He also says there should be a trilogy prequel leading to Wick being married, then his wife dying from cancer. Okay, good to know. So now, guys, I want to talk about this Godzilla versus Kong because I really loved the last movie. I thought it was just action-filled, just a pleasure to watch, a lot of fun to watch. Didn't have the greatest story, the greatest human characters, but the monsters themselves, Kong, Godzilla, were incredible. And visually, it was an incredible movie. So I was really interested to see what they're going to do with this new supernova. Well, evidently, it's going to be aliens attack Earth, and Godzilla and Kong protect us from an alien invasion, believe it or not. So I know Papa Brad was talking about a trailer. He wanted to see a trailer. Well, I don't have a trailer for you, but I got a teaser. It's only 44 seconds, doesn't have any music in it. So we're actually going to get to see this one. So let's watch this teaser here. Just a quick one here. So they're in this dispatch center here. Don't know what's going on, but I think they're just tracking monster activity on the Earth. And it zooms in here on this computer screen. And what I thought was really cool is we can see there that's Sedona. So I think that's Sedona, Arizona, which is just north of me, about an hour and a half. A really great city to go visit if you ever get a chance. It's kind of like a mini Grand Canyon, but it's got a city in the canyon and a ton of hiking. Beautiful landscape there. Looks like that's going to be the setting in this movie where this new monster comes from. And it says to call this number to report, or there's an emergency alert for a new monster. Or maybe that's the alien invasion. So we'll see. But Godzilla X Kong Supernova in development. I think this is going to be another big movie next summer as well. So we've got our DC this summer, which I'm sure we'll have next summer as well. But we've got Godzilla versus Kong, and we've got He-Man next year for sure. So just on your radar there. Been watching a lot of TV shows. Last of Us. I did not watch season 1 until season 2 started. I was like, man, I really want to watch this show if it's going to be successful. I did play the game on PlayStation 3. I have that first one, part 1, and I love the game. So I started watching season 1 and I got hooked, and I just like binged watched all of season 1. And now I've been watching season 2. And in fact, season 2's, I think it's the 6th episode is tonight. So maybe, got to start work tomorrow, first day at my new job tomorrow, but I'm going to try and fit in this hour-long episode tonight of The Last of Us Season 2. Papa Brad's asking, how is Season 2? It's great. I thought Season 1 was better because Pedro Pascal is such an incredible actor, and he hasn't been, I don't want to spoil it, but he hasn't played as big of a role in the second season as he did the first. But it's looking like maybe towards the end here we're going to get some more of him. So I'm really antsy. I'm really like ready to see what's going to happen tonight. But I hear they get back on track hopefully tonight, and season 2 may end up being better by the end than season 1. We'll see. But as of right now, I like season 1 better. But we still got tonight's episode, and we've got next week's finale. So we'll see how they wrap it up. But it looks like they're going to do a season 3. So is season 3 going to be totally new? Or does PlayStation have like a part 3 Last of Us in the works? And we're going to get the video game announcement here soon. And then season 3 here in a year or two will come out. And they're just going to keep this train rolling. I would, because PlayStation's got gold on their hands right now with this franchise. And I think they got to keep it going. I don't think people can get enough of zombies, enough of this story. I think you just got to keep the story going. You got to keep the TV show because it's a ton of fun. If you guys have not watched it, or if you've been on the fence, get HBO Max if you haven't already and start it because it's so good. Even if you don't like the video game, just watch the show. The show's just amazing. So another show I've been watching was The Skeleton Crew. I watched most of it and then took a long break because I was told you I was busy with a bunch of stuff. But this last week I ended up watching the last 3 episodes, so I finished it. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I've been really disappointed a lot with what Star Wars had been doing recently. But this show is an exception. This show is really good. It's a lot like Goonies for Star Wars. It's just got that feel to it, and these kids are great actors. They're a lot of fun to watch. They've got great characters, and they're just, it's a fun show. It's not the most serious show. It just has, like I said, a lot of fun, and it's that's what Star Wars I think needs to get back to, is don't make it so serious. It doesn't have to all just be like this huge storyline. Just create some new characters and just go with that, and make it fun, make it visually, something great to watch. And and just be creative, I think. And that's what this show really did. Also, Jude Law is a really good actor, and he was the lead actor in this show. And I thought he did an excellent job. And you'll see, he's got some really cool stuff towards the end. And if you like lightsabers, you're going to get to see some lightsabers in this show. So, talking about movies, we'll see if they do a Skeleton Crew movie, but I think they could, and it would be really successful. I don't think this show has gotten the ratings it deserves, so we'll see if people start picking up on it. Maybe more people like me talking about it, more people will pick it up, and they'll make a season 2 or make a movie of it, because they could. So this is Skeleton Crew. Now, I did watch Andor Season 1. I watched the full season. It was a ton of dialogue, not a lot of action. There's so many freaking characters in this show. It's kind of slow, kind of boring. It's based on Rogue One, the Rogue One movie, which I really loved. One of the best modern Star Wars movies was Rogue One. So I had high hopes for Andor, and Andor was good. I liked Season 1, but it just took too damn long to get to where I liked it. Too much build-up. And I haven't gotten into Season 2 yet. I've just been really, dragging my feet to get into Season 2 because I know how slow it's going to be. And I've already heard there's just a ton of build-up again and a ton of dialogue, not a lot of action, not a lot of, X-Wings and lightsabers and all the stuff, that droids and the stuff we love. But we'll see, what they do with it. I'm definitely going to watch it at some point. But again, I was talking about Peacemaker. I want to get caught up with that. I think it's going to take priority. But eventually I'm going to get into Andor Season 2 here very soon. So that's my TV talk. We did movies. Also wanted to talk TV shows because I've been into a lot of those shows recently. I see GeForce guys in the chat. He says, I don't have an iron. I have plastic. Great, grand, wonderful. Jim Carrey. All right, so that's our TV show talk. Let's talk some video games to wrap up the stream tonight. So we had Saul Steps was in the stream earlier talking about this Fighting Collection 2 that had just released. I got the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. I really have enjoyed it. I got it on Steam. I haven't played it as much as I thought I was, but it's Marvel vs. Capcom. I mean, I'm always going to go back to it periodically. It's a classic. So, and at any moment I can, turn on my computer, hook up my fight stick and start playing MVC online. There's a huge community of people playing that game online. So I'm sure it's going to be the same case with this Fighting Collection 2 with the SNK versus Capcom games. And let's take a look at the games lineup because I think it's very impressive. Being that it, is not Street Fighter, it is not Marvel versus Capcom. It does have some great titles on here. Talking Street Fighter, it does have Alpha 3 Upper, which was like a release that wasn't hugely available. So it's nice to have that release on this collection, especially to be able to play it online on modern consoles on your computer. You're getting Alpha 3 Upper. Also, this is the game that I saw Steps playing that she had streamed was Power Stone 1 and 2. And those were the two games that I don't have a lot of time with. I know they were Dreamcast titles. They're a lot like Smash Brothers, but they came before the Nintendo Smash Brothers ever was created. So this is more of like an original classic, and but it's got that gameplay to it. And what's really cool is, you can play, it's a multiplayer game, and having that opportunity to now play online on modern consoles, on your computer, I think adds a lot of value to be able to play Power Stone 1 and 2. That's what's going to probably get me to buy this collection is those two titles there. And then, of course, you got your Capcom versus SNK 1 and 2. Those are great titles. I don't have a ton of time with those. Not the biggest SNK fan. I never really played a lot of the SNK fighters, but I played a lot of Capcom fighters. So to be able to have those two games and be able to play those characters in a Capcom, world in that fighting style, I think is going to be really cool. And I hear the Pinnacle, the best, one of the best fighters ever created, was Capcom versus SNK 2. So awesome to see those in there. Kickabod Crane says Dallas has taken Cooper Flag hands down. Yet you had missed that discussion earlier, but definitely go watch the replay. Had a ton of talk on Cooper Flag earlier tonight. So hyped to see him and see what he's going to become as a Dallas Maverick with that number 1 pick. Mike Hawkhurts is here. He's saying, good to see you back. I'll be watching the stream from the beginning. That's awesome to hear, Mike. Definitely catch that replay this week. We've been talking now for about an hour and a half and just finishing up with some video game talk here. So we've got those. We've also got some other Dreamcast games, Plasma Sword, Project Justice, and then the Capcom Fighting Evolution game is interesting to have that thrown in there as well. Don't have much experience with that game, but that could be a gem in there, just throwing that Capcom Fighting Evolution in there. So awesome collection. Just came out last week. Go check it out. If you want to see people streaming it, I know Steps has been. I'm sure Moat, Mike of All Trades, on his fighting channel, they've probably been playing this all week long. So let's look at this one. This is, if I don't know if Brooklyn's in the chat anymore. I know Kevgrat's still here. Good to see him. Talking about how Power Stone 1 and 2 is worth it alone. But we have PSVR 2 headsets. Brooklyn has one. I know Kevgrat's got one. We're friends on PlayStation. I know Mike B's got one. None of the people in the community I've talked to have bought this game yet, but it is certainly on my radar. I do want to get it. It's only $40, but it's a very interesting title. It was completely made out of stop animation using clay models. So you can go watch the making of this game on their website, but they essentially made this entire game from clay using stop motion animation. And supposedly it's nothing like we've ever seen in a video game before. And being that it's VR compatible, you can play it on Steam VR, play it on your PlayStation VR 2 headset. They say it's like a world and it's all alive. Everything's moving. Everything's alive. The walls, the floor, the ground. The characters are really frightening the way they look just because they're so trippy and just so weird looking. So go check this game out. The Midnight Walk. I may jump into this game here very soon. And I would like to get into some streaming of my PSVR 2 headset. Brooklyn has told me it's very simple to stream from your PlayStation. Also allows the chat to, put in their chats, be able to hear that live on the stream. So maybe I'll get this game. Maybe I can stream this here soon. Once I get a paycheck or two at the new job, get this one bought and start playing it. So the Midnight Walk, PSVR 2, wanted to mention that. Also, this is another one. Sometimes I feel like it's a definite buy. Sometimes I feel like I may need to wait a little longer till they work out some bugs. I've been hearing good things. I've been hearing bad things. I've been hearing some of the aliens just aren't natural in like what you remember them in the movies. They don't walk or act right. But I've been hearing there's been updates and they've been improving it. So if it hasn't been completely fixed, it will be. So confident in that. They're going to continue to work on this game. Also, an announcement this last week is they are going to bring this to consoles, just flat screen gaming. So if you want to play the game, you don't own a VR headset, you'll be able to play it, I guess, first-person style with a controller, on your TV or on a portal, I guess you could say, handheld. So Alien Rogue Incursion for the VR headset is 50% off right now till the end of the month. So I definitely think I'm going to get this by the end of the month at $20. I like how they've given us a long period of time to make our decision. It's not like a 2-day sale or 1 week. It's like a 2-3 week sale. So I'll probably end up getting this. Look at the ratings too, guys. 4.5 stars with 1,600 votes. Ratings. I'm sorry. I think that's solid. I think this is a solid title. So I'm just talking myself out of it. I really just need to buy it and get it while it's on sale at a good price. I just finished Metro Awakening, which is a super scary game. You've got like monsters jumping out at you the entire time. They did have spiders in that game. I was able to turn that off, luckily, because I did not like those spiders crawling on me. It just freaked me out. You're going to have those face huggers in this game. So I don't know if you can turn the face huggers off or not. Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of those games that you're going to be scared, and it's going to freak you out at moments because things are going to be jumping out and popping out at you. Kevgret says PSVR 2 version is the one to get. The Quest version is bad. I think that's the one Kevgret played was the Quest version, which obviously isn't going to have the graphical performance of the PSVR 2, and it may not have the updates that the PlayStation got. So this will be the version I definitely get. Papa Brad's talking about how he streamed Project Justice on his Dreamcast a long time ago. And G4 says, I can't believe they beat Boston. This is the most unpredictable playoffs ever. And I showed that WWE slide earlier where you've got Halliburton versus Brunson, which I know Brunson very well from his time as a Maverick. And I've been keeping up with RGT85. He's a huge Knicks fan, so I've been having to hear him go crazy about the Knicks and Brunson. And it really sucks that he's not a Maverick anymore. But really, the Mavericks couldn't keep Brunson. He wanted to leave on his own. He did not want to be here in Dallas anymore. He wanted to be in New York, where he calls the Northeast home. And it's worked out. It's been a storybook season for him because it looks like he may go all the way to the finals, maybe win the whole thing this year as a Knick, bringing that team from the bottom of the league to the finals possibly. We'll see. Jalen Brunson. But that is Alien Rogue Incursion. I also have been playing this. So not all the time do I want to have a VR headset on, and not all the time do I want to play modern like release games. Sometimes I want to go back to my catalog of older games. Well, this last week or two, I've been picking up my 3DS. I have a 2DS XL, and I picked that back up, and I started playing Mario Kart 7 again because we got the new Mario Kart coming out for Switch 2, and I didn't get a lot of time with this game when I'd bought it, so I wanted to just kind of pick it back up. I'd also saw Nintendo Music had released the music for this game recently, so it brought the memory back of this game. Well, I popped it back in there, started playing it. It's an incredible Mario Kart game, and it's really awesome to see how they were able to get the visuals and the gameplay of this like perfect on a 3DS or 2DS little handheld, because those things don't have a ton of power and the screens aren't that great. But when you pop this game in there, it plays perfect. It looks amazing. And I encourage you guys, if you have this game or these systems, go back and give it another chance before the new Mario Kart comes out, because it's all going to be about this Mario Kart world when it releases. So it's good to go back to some of these older games and get some time in on them. And that's what I love about having these older games, is just randomly like this, I'll just pull them off the shelf and start playing them again. And I love being able to do that. And that's what I love about physical media, because no matter how old these games get, I can always go back and play them. Nothing will ever prevent me from that. And I just love the case, the booklet, the cartridge. I just love all that, the whole experience of it. So it got me back into eBay shopping. This game came out in 2017. Well, I'd found it on the Nintendo store for $15 digital. I was like, I don't really want it on digital. I'm only going back to this game because I just got an urge to play older games again. And I never got a chance to really play this game all the way through on the PS3. And all this DC talk, all this DC stuff coming out. I was like, I gotta get some Batman in my life. So I saw this game has touch controls on the Switch. So you can actually touch and use the touchscreen on the Switch, which I totally forgot that the Switch even had a touchscreen. It doesn't have a stylus like the 3DS, but it does have that touchscreen. Well, this is one of the few games that utilizes it. So that kind of encouraged me to get the game in the first place. Also, Batman. Also, had never finished it. I'd found it on eBay used for $30, which is actually a good deal. A lot of them, the listings were $40, $50 for this game. We're going to find out here why in a second. But I was able to get the case. I don't think it had a booklet ever, but I got the cartridge for $30 in good condition. Very good condition, actually. So that's going to be coming on Thursday. I'm going to be jumping into this game. And I'll be playing in handheld mode, swiping the screen and doing all that. It's a story game. It's called a Telltale game, if you guys remember these games. Well, I started looking into it because my Windows account, somehow I had purchased or got this game as like I don't remember how I ended up getting ownership of this game, but I did on my Windows account through Xbox. So I downloaded that to my laptop, and it's a fun little Telltale game. Also with the Minecraft movie that just came out, there's a ton of people going back to play this game because they may have never played it like me. Well, come to find out. So let's read this. Minecraft Story Mode is no longer available for purchase or download on the digital store. So since I had already owned it, I was able to download it, luckily, to my computer. The game was officially disconnected on June 25th, 2019, following the closure of Telltale Games. So they're no longer a company. However, you can still play the game if you have a physical copy of the complete adventure version for PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Wii U, and Nintendo Switch. So I was like, man, I want to get a physical copy of this game now. And you can get it affordable for PS3. It's like $50. You can get it for the Wii U for about $50. But if you want to get it for modern systems like the Nintendo Switch or even Xbox One to play it on your Series S or X, it's over $100. So the game is going way up in value right now. So this is just like a product of like the game's not available anymore. The game has a huge demand because of the Minecraft movie. And, people just want it. So it's cool to see these games go up in value just because of these various reasons. And it makes me want to get the game now. I may get it for physical for the Wii U because I've got a really good collection of Wii U games. And I may try and get it on eBay when I get if I can get it for $40-$50, I'll probably do it. And I'll probably play it all the way through that way just because I have it on digital on Windows, and it just doesn't do it for me when it's a digital game. So just a little insight on these games. All right, so this is just what I'm going to call random shit that I'm going to wrap up the stream with here, guys. G-Force says RGT85 went nuts on his live stream. He was so happy. I saw your short about him. Yeah, RGT's a madman when it comes to the New York Knicks and them being so good this year. He's going crazy. All right, so this is my random shit that I wanted to show you guys. So this is an investigation I found on Philadelphia local TV, and it's going to make some sense here in a moment. But they start out the TV newscast with this like investigation. You're thinking it's like some murder or some big time investigation, right? And they caught the criminal or something. No, it's about Nintendo Switch games. Evidently, they're calling it the googly eye. You guys may go to like Walmart or Best Buy, buy a brand new copy of a Switch game, open it up, and there won't be a cartridge. There's going to be a googly eye inside the cartridge. And people are getting screwed over. They're buying the game, and this is what they see when they open it up. Isn't that freaky? And it's coming from the factory that way, sealed. So be on the lookout, guys. You may get the googly eye if you buy a Switch game. And if you guys know of Spawnwave, talking about RGT85, Spawnwave is a good friend of his. They have a live stream together. Well, he made the local news there in Philly talking about this. And evidently it's a big deal. A lot of people right now are having this issue with their games. So be on the lookout if you're a Switch fan and you're buying those games right now. But also what's happening is Nintendo is sending out copies of the game for people that have this issue. The problem is they can't independently verify for a fact that the person got the googly eye. They could literally go to like Five Below or something, buy a googly eye, open it up, put it in there, and tell Nintendo that they got the googly eye. And Nintendo really doesn't have any recourse or way of confirming whether or not that person's telling the truth. So Nintendo has to take the word of people. Now, how big of an impact will this have on Nintendo as a whole? I think they make more than enough money as a company to withstand and be able to survive this whole deal that's going on right now. think they can afford to send out a few free copies of games. But makes you think how many people are legitimately getting the googly eye, or how many people are cheating the system to get Nintendo to send them a free game and then returning the one they bought. So we'll see how long this goes on for. Hopefully Nintendo can get this under control so they can verify that this isn't ever happening again. I don't know how they're going to do that, but this is going on. Now, this isn't some other random shit, guys. The Tesla bot has come out. And if you guys want to check this out, this is kind of crazy. So let's take a look at this. So for $25,000, you can now order the Tesla bot. It's a humanoid robot, 5 foot 8 inches, 125 pounds. Evidently can do chores for you. It can do your laundry. It can do your dishes. It can mow your lawn. It can fold your clothes. It can clean your house. It can do all kinds of crazy shit. And evidently, rich people can... Actually, you don't even have to be that rich. $25,000 is not that much in the big scheme of things. I mean, even me, if I worked really hard and I didn't want to buy a pinball machine, I could buy myself a Tesla bot. Some of those premium Stern tables are about this price. So let's take a look at this. This is crazy. This thing dancing and moving around. Could you imagine having one of these things in your house or your apartment? How freaky would that be? I could literally have one sitting behind me right now, on the stream, just hanging out with me. So, and think about how freaked out your pet, your dog would be to see one of these things in the house. Or what if it walked your dog for you, So, but yeah, talking about Terminator, what if this thing goes crazy and it's its eyes turn red or something and it just goes rogue and in your sleep, it just murders you in your sleep or, it could do all kinds of crazy stuff. I'd be scared as hell to be living with one of these things. Because you don't know what it could do or be capable of. Because it looks and moves like a real person. It's got strength. It can do human tasks and stuff. So imagine this thing losing its mind and going rogue. Be crazy, right? So we are living in the future, guys. The future is happening now. Thanks to Tesla and their new robot. So Thor KC says, wow, it's not just body shape. Even the price and feature list looks exactly like the iRobot. Oh, I know that iRobot movie. We're living in it now. It's reality. It's actually happening. I remember watching that show when it came out, or that movie, a long time ago now. And just to think that, 15 years later, we've actually got those robots. And they're now for sale. You can buy them on the Tesla website for $25,000. Will Smith trying to make another comeback. How much can it bench press? I don't know. I don't know exactly how strong they are. I think you can push them over. I don't think they're capable of being stronger than you, but just think, over time as the technology gets better or as people do their own modifications to these things and all kinds of crazy stuff could be happening. We could have robot police officers walking down the street or soldiers walking down the street at some point, and keeping us under control. I mean, who knows what's going to end up happening with these robots. But all right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up the stream. But I finally got all my arcades hooked up. Actually played my Miss Pac-Man arcade over here in Papa Brad's tournament. We did Dig Dug a week or two ago. I actually changed out the joystick in my Pac-Man for a Sandwall clone so I can get a better control on my Pac-Man games and my four-way games. Might hop on Killer Instinct, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I've got my collection, you can see, of my New Wave toys going on here. They sent me out the cigarette machine, which I got the Artomat, so I'm able to power all my New Wave toys now directly from my Artomat charger. It's got a ton of ports on the back. It's got 8 charging ports on the back, so Hopefully New Wave Toys will start, getting their products out. I saw the skee ball. They're trying to get the pre-orders for it right now. I don't think there's going to be much involved in developing and producing that, so I would expect that to release on schedule, but everything else has been delayed. So your Crystal Castles, what's that other one? Crystal Castles was one of them. Oh, Golden Tea, that one's delayed. I can't even remember because it's been so long now. The pinball machine, Black Hole, has been delayed. So we'll see if any of these actually make it here this year. I hope they do, but no word as of yet. I know they're working on it all, so but they've definitely been hit hard by the fires and all that in California, and the tariffs definitely are going to be a big impact on them. So hopefully the skee ball is successful and we can get some more New Wave Toy stuff, because I love that company. I love their stuff. But great to see everybody in the chat tonight. This has been a lot of fun. I didn't expect to be off for 2 months, 6 weeks, however long it was, and to be, back where I was when I left. But it's good to see everybody in the chat and to see everybody contributing. Also, Papa Brad, all the memberships that you donated to people tonight was huge. Kevin Clausen, you donating that membership was huge, guys. I really appreciate your support. Let's go, guys. Let's effing go. Let's get those super chats rolling. Let's get this channel back to where we were whenever I'd left originally. And I'm going to make it different. I'm going to make it more about everything. It's not going to be just home arcade. Home arcade is too damn slow right now to just spend hours on end talking about home arcades. There's not enough going on. Even when it gets back to that, when it does, I don't want it to all be about that. I want to talk about anything and everything. And a lot of people say, oh, we make separate channels for all this stuff. Well, I don't want to do that. I just want to have one channel I can focus on, and it's going to be anything and everything I want to talk about. Hopefully you guys enjoy all that. I know everyone loves movies. Everyone loves TV. Most people love sports. So we're just going to talk about all that. And we're going to make it fun. Kev Gret says, good show, Biggie. Thank you. Papa Brad, good to see you, Biggie D. Oh, and Kevin gave 6 memberships total tonight. And Papa Brad gave 10. So we've got, those are 99 cents a piece. That really supports the channel. So if you guys just want to actively on your own become members, definitely do it. You'll get your emojis. You'll get your badges. The longer you're a member, the better the badge will look, and you'll be able to show that off, and your support for the channel, guys. So you guys have a great night, and I will see everyone